Hey, what's up everybody, it's Smiley. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing a rifle overview. So kind of just talking about the specs of the rifle. Normally I throw that into my larger form videos, but I'm trying to kind of reduce the time I'm doing so you guys can stay focused and watch the whole video. But yeah, today we're going to be going over the Zev Core Elite 300 Blackout in 8.5 inches. Alright, so if you guys have been paying attention, I've been hinting at doing a AR-15 guide essentially. So kind of explaining to people why you would buy over build. I've been building rifles for years. It was my favorite thing to do. But now at this point, I still build rifles, but you know, a lot of people come to me with questions like, hey, Smiley, what rifle should I buy? The thing about building is you kind of have to have the knowledge and experience to do it. Now, I'm not saying you can't go on YouTube and learn how to build a rifle overnight. It is very doable. If you can change the tire, you can build a rifle. The thing is, not everybody's confident in doing that. I have a friend, shout out to Don Firearms. He has not fully built a rifle yet, though he is beyond capable. Some people just are more comfortable with buying them themselves. So with that being said, I wanted to go ahead and give reviews or give overviews of guns that are very high quality but affordable at the same time. So full disclosure, Zev did send me this rifle. My relationship with Zev, I have been reaching out to them for years. I love their products and I wanted to do my best to give them more people to see, because they're a very good company, but they are kind of one of those if you know companies. They don't have a massive market or a massive I don't want to say inventory. Their name is just not widely known like your PSA or your Aero Precision, your Ballistic Advantage, and even Ballistic Advantage isn't as well known as Aero Precision or Palmetto State Armory, Daniel Defense. They're not a little guy, but they're not at that level yet either. And I don't even think they plan to be. They're making good products, and I want them to continue doing that. But anyways, they did send this rifle to me. Zev, thank you guys so much for sending this to me. I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and dive into it. So either over here or over here, whichever side looks better, I'm gonna put up a list of specifications from Zev's website that is in the rifle, and then I'm going to talk about the stuff that I noticed and the things that you guys should be paying attention to. So along with the list over on both sides, you're going to notice some things when you get this rifle. Number one, it is beyond aesthetically pleasing. You guys know, if you follow this channel, that I love the way my guns look. I need them to look a specific way because this is something that I need to look at every time I go shoot. When I open the safe, when I grab it to dry fire, I need to be looking at it. So I want to make sure I'm looking at something that is visually pleasing. So first thing you're going to notice about Zev that not a lot of companies do is they use a PVD coating on the barrel. It is a bronze coating. Now, I know a lot of you guys may be wondering what PVD stands for. I'm going to do that in the next video when I cover the actual review of the rifle. If you're curious, go ahead on Google, type in PVD coating and read about it. There is a reason they use this, but it is extremely visually pleasing when you're looking at it, especially when you pair it with the black handguards, the M-LOK rail. Beautiful. So that's one thing you want to pay attention to. Next, we're going to go ahead and start talking about the rest of the rifle and some of the upgrades on here. So take a step back and let's talk about when you're building a rifle. When people are building rifles, typically they're doing it because they want it to be a clone of something, or they want to build an affordable rifle because they don't want to pay full price for a rifle. And there's reasons for that, but I don't know if they match up all the time. So typically people will go on Palmetto State Armory, or they'll do this thing where they just buy parts from different places, a Ballistic Advantage barrel, a Geisley rail, or a Midwest Industry rail, a BCM parts kit. And then they find prices, they kind of deal watch, and they have time to do that. Not everybody does. Some people want to buy once, cry once, right then and there, and they want the backing to that, because when you build a rifle, you are responsible for things that break in the rifle. When you buy a rifle, most of the time they're covered by a warranty, so you guys can hold them accountable if something is out of spec. Unlike when you're building and you just buy a part that's out of spec, it's kind of something you have to deal with. But aside all of that, let's start talking about some of the upgrades that I noticed on here that cost $533 total when you put it together. This rifle MSRP is $1,864. So if you subtract the two, you come out right around $1,300, which is what some people are spending. When I used to build rifles, I would build anything between $500, which was a very cheap rifle. I mean, I was getting barrels at $14 from companies I will not name and building it up for $500, but not a good quality rifle at all. Very bottom of the barrel rifle, up to about $1,300 if I wanted a quality rifle with quality parts. So let's go ahead and jump into it. So very first thing that I noticed when I'm starting to talk about upgrades is this trigger right here. This is an AR Gold trigger. It is $280. It is a 2.5 pound trigger, and it is flat faced, as you've seen. It has a very, very short and crisp trigger squeeze and reset. Now, this is an upgrade that's going to get bypassed by a lot of people when they look, because a lot of people believe that mil spec is the standard, right? It's like, oh, okay, I'm good with mil spec. Yes and no. So mil-spec triggers can run you anywhere between $35 and like $80, but you're kind of shortening what you get. So you're getting anywhere between a 6 and 4 pound trigger squeeze with a mil-spec trigger if they work, because again, if you're buying on that 35 end mark, you're cheaping out and you may not have the reliability you want. Unlike with the AR Gold trigger, right? This is a drop-in trigger, and I know there may be a stigma about them on the market, but since I've been running the rifle so far, it's been great for me. The trigger squeeze is very, very nice, and I have no problem with it. On top of the fact that it came with the rifle when I got the rifle, right? That's what I want you guys to think of. If you don't know how to change the trigger out, you don't have to worry about that because you have a quality trigger in the rifle when you purchase it. So that was the first thing that stood out to me. Next, something that Zev did themselves is they made sure that your rail is not moving. So when you're building a rifle, depending on the rail you're using, if you buy a cheap rail, you may have a lot of movement in that rail and in that barrel nut. That's not really good for the rifle, and that could affect the accuracy. That's not something you want to really worry about. So you did see a lot of it in the last couple of years with some of the higher name brand rifles. They didn't cheap out on the rail. They just don't have the best way to mount the rail to the receiver. So you've seen a lot of flex in the rail. You don't want that. So Zev has a wedge locked handguard. And with that, the rail's not moving. They made it to the point where it's almost like a monolithic upper, meaning one piece. Almost, all right, because it is two separate pieces, but it has a monolithic feel where it feels like the receiver is connected to the rail, and it came like that because there's no movement in this at all. So I can push up against the barrel all I want and it's not moving. So they did a great job, and these are the things you're paying for, right? You're paying for the reliability and the quality. To pay attention to that. When you're building rifles, you have a chance. Now, the only other company that I know off the top of my head that makes really good rails that you're not going to see too much flex on is Geisley. Geisley rails can be expensive. I think they're anywhere between like $164 blem up to like $400 if I'm not mistaken. And I'll quote myself up here so you guys can see what the max is for a Geisley rail. So that wedge lock technology is amazing, and it's going to ensure that your rail does not move, which is very good for you. Next, this is a really small piece, but it's important. The pistol. So this is an 8.5 inch pistol. This is an SBA 3. This is about $100. These don't go out of stock per se, but again, you have it, you're probably grandfathered in. I'm not really tracking where they are with the pistol brace laws. I see it keeps dying in court, so I'm going to assume they're good to go, and I'm going to rock with it. But it did come with the SBA 3. I'm very happy. I've ran the pistol braces for a long time now, and it is a very good option, especially SB Tacticals. So for $100, that's on there. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to search for it. If it's out of stock, I don't have to worry about it. It's on the rifle when it got to me. Next, you're going to look at some of the furniture. So this has Radian furniture. It has a Radian LT charging handle, and it has a Radian selector, right? The charging handle is $74. The selector is $50 or $60. So with that, right, when you're building a rifle, you're going to cheap out on your selector. I know a lot of people that do. They get a regular mil-spec selector that's not ambi on one side. They spend anywhere between $10 and like $20 for it, and a lot of people don't change it out. If you're someone who wants quality out of the box, you're going to go with a rifle that is built, and some people that think about you. Zev, they are very much into the culture of firearms, and they understand what accessories, attachments are sought for, and they put it in this rifle. So they thought about us. Last but not least, they do have some of the Magpul furniture. So there's a K2 grip and a Magpul QD selector or QD butt plate at the end. So with all that, they're doing a lot of the guesswork for you and taking it out. So they're saving you money, honestly, in the long run, because you're not paying for it at the maximum price you would on top of the shipping cost, and then again looking for it. You're getting that right out of the box. I think the Zev Core Elite, in an overview perspective, is a great rifle for somebody that's just trying to get into a rifle. They have the budget, they have the money, and they don't want to throw too much in there. After you get your rifle, you can start worrying about your optics, your flashlights, your suppressors, your lambs, all that stuff. But for 1864, this is a very good rifle, and I do suggest it. Now, what I'm not saying that other people don't make quality rifles, but just a quick Google search will show you that right now some of the competitors are at like $1,899, $1,900, $2,000. So you might want to save money, but still have a quality feel and a quality gun. This is that. I'm super happy they sent this to me. I had to give it or sell my 300 Blackout a couple years ago, and I'm back into one now. Eventually, I will be doing a anywhere between 5 to 1,000 round review on this to give you guys the feedback on how it performed and how I like it paired up against some of the other ones. And then in the future, maybe some reviews against other manufacturers. We will see. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, that's just an overview. Here in a couple of weeks, months, who knows, I will be giving you guys a full review of the Zev Core Elite rifle. Right now, you can get the Zev Core Elite in about 4 different options. You can get this option right here. This is the 8.5-inch 300 blackout. They make it a 10.5 and a 16-inch 223 Wild, which will take 5.56 rounds, and they also make a large bore 308 that you guys can get as well. So go ahead and check Zev out. Zev, again, thank you guys so much for sending me this rifle out. Can't wait to do the review. Again, guys, do me a favor if you're not already, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think Zev is worth the money or if you think there's somebody out there better. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have a good night.